How real estate turned from a loss to a profitable deal, the future returning through incomplete buildings. Can you imagine that the real estate sector, once shaken by the triple shocks of demonetization, GST, and COVID, has now once again become one of India's fastest emerging industries? A sector that many investors had abandoned, seeing it as a warning sign, is now becoming the biggest attraction for investment. Buildings that once stood in silence are now filled with the sounds of work, the hum of machines, and buyers with eyes full of hope. It feels like a miracle, but behind it are some solid reasons, the story of which is important to understand. In India, millions of families dream of owning a home. And when incomplete buildings, abandoned for years, suddenly begin to breathe again, it means that not just money but trust has returned to the market. Today, we'll explore this topic in depth. But before that, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so that you are the first to receive updates on our latest videos. So let's begin today's discussion without any delay. The 2016 demonetization created a cash crunch. The 2017 GST reshaped the tax system, and the 2020 COVID lockdown practically brought the entire real estate sector to a halt. At that time, the biggest blow was to housing demand. People weren't ready to invest, and developers didn't have the funds for new projects. In such conditions, many projects were left incomplete, some were shut down completely, and some remained only on paper. The situation was so disheartening that both investors and buyers distanced themselves from the sector, considering it unsafe. But every downturn eventually passes, and when real estate made its comeback, it created history. As soon as 2022 arrived, the market's momentum began to shift. Within just 2 years, by 2024, the real estate sector made such a strong comeback that it took everyone by surprise. Property demand surged so dramatically that even incomplete projects became active again. Their prices rose to such an extent that projects once running at a loss started generating profits. This change wasn't just on paper, it was clearly visible on the ground. New signboards went up, bookings for old flats resumed, and work that had been stalled for years started again. Trust returned, and investors began seeing potential in the sector once more. Flats that once couldn't sell became overbooked. The most crucial reason behind the revival of these incomplete projects was the rising unit demand and consistently increasing prices. Older projects that previously couldn't even recover their costs now appeared profitable to complete. Many of these already had partial construction done, making them more feasible to finish compared to launching new projects. Moreover, buyers also began to feel that these stalled projects could be completed quickly, since some work was already done. This renewed confidence brought buyers back into the market and gave developers the courage to raise funding again. But the story doesn't end there. The biggest hurdle, funding, still remains the most critical challenge. Dinesh Gupta, Secretary of GRT Western UP, clearly stated that in regions like Noida and Greater Noida, hundreds of projects still remain incomplete due to severe financial shortages. These projects are either stalled or have reached the NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, which is a red flag for any sector. In such a situation, merely increasing funding sources is not enough. There needs to be a policy framework that can help revive stalled projects. These are not just buildings. They represent the dreams of millions of families who have been wandering for years in search of a permanent home. In this entire process, the old company takeover model has proven to be a game changer. Under this model, a new developer company takes over an old, stalled real estate firm and relaunches its incomplete project under a new name. For example, Rinox Group acquired Nivasa Promoters and revived a 3.3-acre project in Greater Noida West as Rinox Thrive. Rinox Group Chairman Shailendra Sharma explained how they cleared all dues, whether to the Greater Noida Authority, banks, RERA, or previous buyers, and then cancelled the old project to launch a fresh one. This not only restarted construction but also generated employment and revived government revenue flows. This model has now become an inspiration for many other companies. The second model is bringing new management into the old company. Often, the problem isn't just funding but mismanagement. In such cases, bringing in a new leadership team within the same company helps restart the stalled project. A great example is Diligent Builders, which revived the 𝐼𝐸𝐴 project in Greater Noida West. Lieutenant Colonel Ashwini Nagpal, now the coup of the company, shared how they not only paid off dues to authorities but also refunded earlier allottees. With the help of the government's progressive policies and the recommendations of the 𝐼𝐸𝐴 committee, what once seemed impossible was made possible. This model now serves as a ray of hope for all stalled projects that simply need the right leadership to come alive again. Now let's talk about the reverse insolvency via NCLT model, which is still feasible for only a handful of companies. Generally, when a project goes into NCLT, its revival is considered nearly impossible. But 𝐼𝐸𝐴 Group turned that impossibility into reality. They revived their company through reverse insolvency and completed 𝐼𝐸𝐴 Luxury Homes, even obtaining the occupancy certificate. According to Director 𝐮𝐩𝐽𝐝, this is the first such project in Gautam Buddha Nagar to successfully exit the process and reach completion. He believes it was possible only through positive intent and a dedicated approach, where the goal wasn't just profit, but delivering homes to the buyers. These examples show that if the will exists, the way will follow. Finally, there's the co-developer policy model. This policy is especially based on the recommendations of the 𝐼𝐸𝐴 committee, which allows a different promoter to officially complete a stalled project. The new promoter can take over construction rights of the plot by settling old dues and outstanding loans. Under this model, Nimbus Group in Sector 168 and 𝐸𝐴 Group in Greater Noida West have taken responsibility for completing incomplete projects. This isn't just a legally transparent process, but also brings new hope to home buyers. Successful implementation of this policy could become a model for the entire country's real estate sector. All in all, the real estate sector today stands at a point where incomplete projects are no longer seen as burdens, but as opportunities. What's needed is the right strategy, transparency, and strong collaboration between the government and developers.
If this video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.